Hi, welcome to my channel where we question everything. Today's topic is bits and pieces, and we are looking at the destruction of the Ukrainian power system. And you know, if you have watched my video, I have made a video about this whole concept or the whole event. And I've also expressed my disagreement with a lot of pro-Russian commentators about the subject. Because, okay, no. Let's start off with the basics. The Russians have retaliated after a number of sabotage attacks on civilian structures in Kursk breach and a military attack on the Black Sea Fleet, and the assassination attempt, and so forth and so forth. And then Russia went on a rampage and sent a lot of precision missiles to destroy specific nodes of the Ukrainian power structure in order to disrupt the power, especially to the trains which were transporting Western weapons and logistical supplies to the Ukrainian forces on the Eastern Front. The Russians did not only use missiles, they used a hell of a lot of, call it kamikaze UIVs, and these were very cheap and very effective. And we have known that, according to certain reports, that about 40% of the Ukrainian power transmission network has been disabled, and that even Kiev, since now with have blackouts and battle to get the system going. And it is also stated by pro-punters that because the Kiev population is living in high buildings, which need electricity to pump the water and upwards and so on, that they experience water shortages, electricity shortages, heating shortages, and also sewage. And this is the narrative that is constantly being promoted by pro-Russians. The West doesn't really talk much about it, but that is what they are saying and keep on saying. And the Russians have launched some more attacks on the infrastructure. But if you listen carefully to what the Russians have said, they only bombard military installations, not civilian installations. But unfortunately, some of them are dual purpose, so naturally civilians will also suffer on it. And then another narrative is made that a lot of this stuff is Soviet Union-based technology, and it's not fully compatible with the Western system. It will be very hard to replace the transformers, especially the auto transformers, and yada, etc. And then I made a video, and I said to them, no. Firstly, please Google the auto of transformers before you make those statements. An auto transformer is a much more simple device than a dual transformer, the old traditional versions. Less smaller, easier to manufacture, cheaper, etc. And you can easily modify these systems. So you can get the systems from Germany or Europe. If you have usually long lead times on these items, yes, because if you look at a normal situation, then you have normal market conditions, and then you have priorities, and factories are built on the size of factories built on demand and supply and demand. And yes, you can sometimes wait and you have to get in queue, and sometimes you can wait for a year, 12 months to get a transformer. But it doesn't take 12 months to build a transformer. That's not how long it takes. There are not technicians sitting there for 365 days building a transformer. One. No, doesn't work like that. So all this story, all this narrative is basically very simplistic view on a matter. And in the video, I also said that if I was a Ukrainian, what could I have done? Well, I'm not an expert, but I would move certain items that the Russians can think as a military use, remove the ones that haven't been destroyed, put them into the civil ones that have destroyed, notify the Russians, say, listen here, this is now a civilian, and as we're not going to supply, please don't destroy it. And the Russians will listen to it because are not willing to destroy civilian structures. And then the whole Ukrainian population can have, again, power. And that could have been one of the solutions. And you could have manufactured some in Germany and Germany, Europe, America. It's not impossible to overcome the problem. That's the whole point. And then I get this article. And then this is what I want to talk about. So this article is an interview with Vitaly Klitschko, who's the mayor. He's the mayor of Kiev. And he was talking about the power outages that have now been experienced. And then he discusses the matter. And he says there will be power outages until about next year's spring. Spring for you is our autumn. Yeah, okay. That would be April, May, June. That's around there. Okay, so that's what we. And if you talk about power outages, let me inform you that I live in South Africa, and in now South Africa, I've been having load shedding, which is the same as blackouts, every flipping single day for 2 to 4 hours at a time. And yesterday and today was the only time we didn't have blackout. And we all adjusted. We might not require heatings, but it is warm, so we need cooling, air conditioners. And we don't have them. So it's just it's the same thing of 6 eggs or 6 eggs or half a dozen. Anyways, so Klitschko said that maybe partial evacuations of the Ukrainian capital, as authorities expect more blackouts well into next year. And he doesn't say it's necessary. He says that basically they are recommending that the people evacuate Kiev, center maybe, go to certain places where there are more services available, or go to their holiday homes, or go to friends and so on and live on farms where they can make use of wood fire and coal and stuff like that, meaning getting out of the high rise. But that will be a partial solution because only a partial amount of the percentage of the population will leave Kiev, and that will allow energy supply to fewer people, but then they will have longer and less blackouts. Typical what happens here in South Africa. But they are looking at the most worst scenario. So it's not a question of that it will be done or that it's necessary, but it will be nice if you do it. That's basically what the mayor said. It will help us a lot if you do it. In any case, so Klitschko also acknowledged that while the authorities in Kiev hope to restore damaged energy infrastructure in a matter of weeks with the help of Western equipment, we should be prepared for the fact that outages could continue until spring. Please listen very carefully. They hope to restore damaged energy infrastructure, in a matter of weeks with the help of Western equipment. Western equipment. If you listen carefully, these systems got to be repaired. They can be repaired. They don't have to be out of action for years and so on. It's totally destroyed. That is not going to create chaos in Ukraine. Nothing is not repairable. And if he says that they are talking about Western equipment, then surely the Westerns can build it. I've explained last time what are the two key pillars. It's usually the switchgear and the insulators. But Ukrainians usually have higher voltages, which means unfortunately the insulators must be more resilient to leakages over high voltages, which usually increases their thickness and size and so on. But it's not impossible. And it's not rocket science. In any case, the article goes on a little bit about the accusation that the Russians were destroying civilian infrastructures and so on. But then, what's a guy called what they're doing, the Russian ones, Vasily Nebenzia, say that most of that, well, all of that damage has basically been inflicted by UAVs and missiles that were shot down by Ukrainians and then lost their flight path and then into a building, or it was due to the air defense systems of Ukraine that didn't reach the target and then fell into the civilian population. So basically, these are all self-inflicted damages, although on account of the UAVs, Russian UAVs, and a Russian attack. So nobody's really innocent in that respect. But again, at the end of the paragraph, it is again, end of the article is again stated. The Kremlin stated that Russian forces only hit targets that are connected with Ukraine's military capabilities. So all the Ukrainians have to do is split the military from the civilian, and then they can continue with the civilian branch. Well, that is more or less my update on the destruction of the Ukrainian infrastructure. If you liked, subscribe to the channel. If not, too bad. Until next time. Cheers.